Alright, so this is my third video of the day. I'm very behind on videos. I meant to do this over the weekend. I meant to do these two videos over the weekend because it was the end of the month. But my friend had me held hostage at his house. He wouldn't let me go home. And he only let me go today because I have plans tomorrow. And then when I get back, he's probably going to kidnap me again. So I have to make these videos while I can. This video will be my February reads wrap up. I've read 11 books this month, and I will share those with you. First book I read this month was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I read this with two of my friends. I've been wanting to read it for like 2 years. And it finally came out in October, and then I've been waiting on my friend Casey to read it with me for forever. And she and my friend Tamia finally read it with me.
Yeah.
And Tamia is still on my phone. And so, this book was a really good book. It really was. Like, it took me a minute to, like, really find my place in this book. But, like, as things started building up and we finally start, like, understanding what happened between her and Luke and her and Henry and Luke.
Oh, you scared me.
What?
Ooh. You said that name and it really scared me.
Luke? Oh. To me, anyway, she interrupted my video. So with all of that and everything else, it was really interesting seeing how it happened. In the ending, I was not prepared for it to just end like that. And I was so upset. And I just wish that she and Henry could have been happy together. But it was a really good book. And there were so many amazing quotes. And I love a good quote. The next book I read was I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. The main character is non-binary. I don't remember their name. Their name was Ben. And they're non-binary. They came out to their parents. Their parents were trash and kicked them out. So they went to stay with their sister, who they haven't seen in 10 years. And it was really good. And it was so heartfelt. And I'm trying to remember Nathan. Nathan is a sweetheart. I love Nathan. That's the love interest. And it was so nice seeing Ben find their place and become more comfortable with who they are and able to express that. So I really enjoyed this book. Something else I've been putting out for a while. And the next book I read was The Outsiders. My physical copy has been in storage for who knows how long. But, so I read it digitally. Anyway, I read it digitally, and now I don't feel like trying to find it. So, I read this. I haven't read it since I was 12 and in the 7th grade, and we read it for class. And it was such a good book. And then we watched the movie, which made it even more sad. But my friend Tamia decided to read it because someone she was talking to liked the book a lot. And so she read it. And so I decided to reread it. And it still hurt just as much as it did then. Stay gold, pony boy. Stay gold. Anyway.
Yeah, bro,
the hurt. It was a lot of hurt. Next book I read was Sasha Masha. And now this one, I don't know exactly how to describe it. It was pretty quick. I'm pretty sure Sasha Masha is trans. Because, like, throughout the book, they never really specify exactly what pronouns that they would prefer to go by the end of it, and whether they're non-binary, trans by the end. But I think towards the end, Sasha Masha realizes that they might be trans. But it was pretty interesting to read. Seeing them try to find themselves, seeing them trying to find what they were into and what they liked. and who they wanted to be, and it sucked seeing that, like, when they would try to express it and it kind of be tossed aside as a joke or whatever. But it was a really good book, and it was over pretty quickly, and it ends on, like, not a cliffhanger, but kind of like, dang, I really want to know how it went. So that was that. Then I read The Colorado Kid. This is another really quick read. I read a lot of just really quick reads because I didn't read for most of the month. And then I was like, because I read like 3 books the first 5 days. And then I didn't read for like 20 days, not 20, but I didn't read for most of the rest of the month. And then like the last week, I was like, okay, I need to get to 10 books. So I had to hurry up and read 7. So I try to read quick books so I can meet my monthly goal and stay on top of it. And so I read The Colorado Kid, which is something I've been wanting to read for a few years because I read, what was the show called? Haven? I think it was called Haven on Netflix. And it said it was based out there. So I've been wanting to read it forever, and I read it. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't know. This whole book is basically just like speculation. But it was okay. I probably could have done without it, to be honest. And then I read Lies Like Poison by Chelsea Pitcher. And now this book, this book is just the whole time I'm like, I don't know who I'm really rooting for because you don't know who really is the culprit. Because basically it was this group, there was this group of friends at first, and they all had this plan to murder one of the friends, Raven, his stepmom. But then, like, it doesn't happen, but then she ends up turning out dead anyway, and one of them is blamed for it. And the whole time you're like, who did it? And so you're bouncing between who you're rooting for, who you think you did it, who you think did it. And so, yeah, it's just a lot, but it was really good. And there was some surprising representation. I did not know there would be this much. We had one of the friends turns out to be trans, and then one of the friends she's dating another girl, and it's a lot more representation than I was expecting, and I was really happy for that. And then I read Upside Down by N.R. Walker, which I've been wanting to read for forever because of asexual rep, and it was really good. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I know a lot of people said it was super great, and I follow a few popular asexual people on Instagram, and they loved it, but I was nervous, but I really did like it, and it was so sweet and so wholesome and so little angst, and that made me happy, and it was handled really well. And then I read The Foxhole Court by Nora Sokovic. And this book, people talk about all over Instagram, and to be honest, I wasn't feeling it. It was alright. I'm interested to see what happens next if I ever get around to reading the next 2 books, but it just wasn't particularly my cup of tea, but it wasn't bad. I am interested to see what happens next, though. And then I read Every Heart a Doorway, because that's something else. This series is something else that I've been hearing a whole lot about, by Shannon McGuire. And I've been hearing so much about it, and I really wanted to know what all the hype was about, and it seemed pretty quick, so I went ahead and read it, and I did enjoy it, actually. And it just made me want to immediately get through the rest of the series, and it's just like, there is apparently, everybody has doors, and everybody's door, not everybody, but a lot of these, there's a home for people who found a door and have been in through it and experienced it or whatever, and now they're home or back in their original reality or whatever, and now everyone's think they're crazy and whatnot, and they send them to these homes to like try to help them get better or whatever, when really the home is just about helping them move on from the places that they were. I don't know how to explain it, but it was really good. And I do want to read the other books in the series to see what happens to everyone else. And then I read Tales of the Sea Witch by Lou Willem. It's basically an Ursula Ursula origin story. And it was like really good, and I was enjoying it at first, and then like, but it's an origin story, so of course it doesn't end happily, and so even though I should have expected it, I was still really disappointed. But it was gay, and it was very interesting, so can't knock it. And then the last book I read was Peter Darling by Austin Chant. And this is a trans Peter Pan retelling, which I really enjoy. Like, I don't know what I was expecting it to be about, or it's a handle, but I really did like it. So basically, Wendy is Peter Pan. Wendy grew up, realized that he wasn't Wendy, but his parents wouldn't listen to him. And he had made up these stories about Peter Pan that he told his brothers. And when he went off to Neverland, that's who he became. He became Peter Pan to be himself. And when he decided... So yeah, he's basically himself in Peter Pan. And then when he is at home, he has to pretend like he's still Wendy. And it's a whole lot. But it's really good. And I like how they handled Neverland. I liked how they handled the relationship between Peter and Hook, and it's a lot, but it's really good. It was a relatively quick read. So those are the 11 books that I read this month. I guess we'll see how many I read. Well, those are the 11 books I read last month. Those are my February reads. I keep forgetting that it's March. And I will see how many books I read this month. I haven't started reading any yet. But yeah, so see you next time.